Hi, I'm Liz Parker, Senior Editor of Candy Industry. Today we are talking with Rob Sarlls at Rocky Mountain Chocolate Factory. Thanks for being here today with us.
Absolutely, Liz. Great pleasure to be with you.
So to start off, I know Rocky Mountain has kind of been through a lot of changes lately. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a 40 plus year beloved premium chocolate brand with a really deep, strong network of excellent franchisees and a great name in the overall marketplace. And what's gone on the last year or so is that we've brought in a new team, come up with a new strategic plan to really help the brand, evolve into the next 42 years in terms of strength, consumer reach, relevance, and truly taking advantage of the opportunity that is premium chocolate, which is always a phenomenal business to be in.
And can you talk a little bit? I know you guys have like a strategic turnaround plan. Can you talk about
Mhm.
details for that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we had different focuses in the past. We had a frozen yogurt shop franchise business that was really a distraction and really wasn't bringing a lot to the chocolate, premium chocolate side of the house. So we exited that. That was a 11-year round trip. And also, we're really more dialed in on servicing the needs of the franchisees. And what we're bringing to them in very short order includes a new brand look, new logo and trade dress, refreshing the stores that have been, a little under supported for the last 20 years, and really breathing new life into the brand and the store experience and the product experience. And for example, product innovation, something we're really honing in on. We have our first ever R&D head that came on 4 or 5 months ago. In terms of making sure the store experience is top notch, we dedicated somebody who's head of brand standards, otherwise used to be known as compliance, and we're really putting a lot of resources to helping our franchisees execute well at the store level. In terms of the manufacturing side of the house, which is significant, where we've got support to get quality up and efficiency up and consistency up in our product, and really looking at our business. We're a little different than a pure CPG, since the franchisees are our conduit to most of our consumers, making sure we fulfill what I call business as a service. We exist for our franchisees. They're the ones that are interfacing day to day with our tens of thousands of customers, hundreds of thousands of customers daily. And so we want to make sure they've got everything they need to be successful. So really pointing the headquarters towards that is really important. Other things that are important to us is making money. We're a publicly traded company, so we're looking at a lot of ways to do things more efficiently inside the house, and that is not only on the manufacturing side, but how we get product to market, both to franchisees as well as online. We do some really nice work for some premium home-focused retailers that you've probably enjoyed in the past. And so we're looking at all those avenues to really elevate our game. On top of it, we need more chocolate stores. We have 150 today. We've had as many as in the mid 200s not that long ago. And what the strategic plan outlines is we're looking to take the store count up from 150 to 250 over the next 4+ years, and also make those stores more profitable by not only helping the franchisees sell more and sell better, giving a better store experience, but also working with multi-unit operators, folks that can have 3, 4, 5+ stores in a market and really execute well. So that's really the gist of what we're looking to do. We've got a great market. I believe we have a moatable business, as we're the only pure play chocolate shop experience for anybody looking to invest franchise dollars. And we've got a premium product that's second to none that we stand by.
Are you nationwide? Like I'm in the Michigan area and I know you used to be in a mall near me. I think you still are in Somerset Mall in Troy, but I think you're
We're in,
nationwide.
yeah, we're back in Troy. We've got a number of stores in Michigan. The super majority of our stores are west of the Mississippi, and that's something we're looking to correct too. I mean, as an example, we only have 2 full chocolate shops between the Maine Canadian border and the Virginia North Carolina border. So there's huge parts of the market that we haven't had a presence in for a long time or have never had a presence. And with our strengthening the brand and strengthening the value proposition for franchisees with a better online presence, there's a lot more of the market that we can go after, and we're really going after it aggressively.
Okay. that sounds good. Related, can you talk a bit about your franchisee council and how that works?
Yeah, so a franchisee advisory council, really good franchisors have them. We've got 11 of some of our best operators, both large and small, both new and old, or legacy in terms of being with the network. And they meet quite frequently, at least 3 times a year in person, and more frequently than that. And what they do is they're a sounding board for all the changes we're looking to make at the company. They're also an opportunity for franchisees to bring whatever concerns or questions they might have to a very experienced group, get good guidance, be a sounding board for their issues. And then, if there's things that are more critical to the bulk of the network, the Franchisee Advisory Council brings them to our attention and we address it. It's a really healthy relationship. One of the things we've been going after more and more is transparency and dialogue and better communication. And so that is a huge step that the company took, bringing that back. But we communicate with our franchisees a ton in general. We utilize an inside network. We direct email them. We've got field reps all over the country that service them. So the dialogue has been amplified and increased dramatically between us and our franchisees. And the FAC was a big part of that.
Okay, that sounds good. Related, how did you rebuild your board of directors recently?
Yeah, so I won't take all the credit for it. It's come in dribs and drabs. So Jeff Gagan, our chair, came on about 2 years ago. Another director was elected in between, but he was a great ad because he's got confection experience. And then Starlet Johnson, our most recent addition, tremendous franchise experience, and she was brought to our attention by one of our larger shareholders. So we've got a great mix of, investment experience, franchising experience, confection experience, and it's a really good group. And now we're tight. We're down to 5 directors, which includes myself. It's a phenomenal working group. It's a hands-on board, and they provide counsel not just to me, but the rest of my senior leadership team. That's really helping us make progress faster than if we had a more traditional, lay behind board.
Okay, that sounds good. Recently, the other Rob was saying there was some controversy with investors, like they were trying to topple the board or something like that. If you can talk about that.
Yeah, no, sure. So investors in our stock had reasonable concerns about the direction we were going in, and we were losing stores, and sales and profitability were declining. And so they were raising their concerns through a matter of fights with the then current board a few years back. So those fights are done. We did a settlement in December of 2022 with one of the largest shareholders that was part of that fight. And we're doing everything that all of the activist investors said the company should be doing. And in fact, I met with the founder over a decade ago and we had a similar discussion. So there's lots of basic things that a business like ours should be doing. Retail, particularly storefront retail, is very, very competitive. It's as competitive as not more than being on the shelf at grocery and specialty retail. So we need to have our A game on, and that's what we've been bringing. So yeah, we're addressing all those things. It's, again, everything I mentioned: better communication with the franchisees, focus on product quality, focus on innovation, focus on efficiency in the manufacturing side of the business, really dialing down as to what this company does best. And for a company our size, we're not that big, although we have a big presence in terms of a name and number of stores. But we've been doing other things like the yogurt business. That was something that was a distraction. But also we had a full running transportation company that now we're taking the opinion that we should be outsourcing to people that do things better. So instead of us having a truck from Durango to every single store, we have respected, trusted third parties that are bringing product to the store. Instead of fulfilling all the e-commerce out of Durango, which actually had a ceiling as to how many packages could leave per day, because we're only a town of 19,000, we now got third-party partners that are getting product instead of 3, 4, 5 days from Durango. They're getting it to consumers within 2 days nationwide. And on top of that, we've done some clever updating of our website offering, where we used to charge potentially up to $35 for a $60 order for shipping. Now shipping's included, and that has helped tremendously with order size, reorder, and cart abandonment is the bane of any online effort. And so that's come down very significantly, and we expect this to pay real good dividends for the holidays coming up.
I think that's definitely true because the old saying goes like if you're buying something that's $100, but it's like a $5 shipping charge, you're like, I'm abandoning my cart. That's it. But you mentioned a few things I wanted to touch on. So you did have a frozen yogurt business. Was that like early 2000s, I think it said?
Yeah, so well actually early 2010s, and you've been in the food space for a while. There were two peaks in the frozen yogurt shop business. The first one
Yep.
was like the mid 1990s, and that was TCBY.
Oh yeah.
And then when Pinkberry came on, 2007, 8, 9, there was another big flurry. And this company got into the business at the peak of the market. We actually had over 260 frozen yogurt shops
Oh, okay.
in our network, but that dwindled down over a decade to just under 60. So it was time for us to, again, lay that aside. It generated good profitability, but it wasn't the core of what we do, which is making and selling premium chocolate. So we divested that back in May. It was a great move for us.
Okay. And then my other question you did touch on is e-commerce. Do you have a lot of e-commerce sales as well?
No, we're behind the eight ball on that. We've had some fits and starts, and it really hasn't been a heavy focus. And realize that there is a super majority of Americans that are not within a 20, 25-minute drive from our stores. And there's also people who first encounter our brand, and you may have seen this in airports. We're in Minneapolis, we're in Salt Lake City. We've got a tremendous presence in Denver. We're in Charlotte. And a lot of times consumers will encounter our brand, have a great experience in the store and eating our product, and then get on a plane and live someplace where there is no Rocky Mountain chocolate store. Now, granted, we want one everywhere, but practically that takes a while. So we want that consumer who had that great experience to be able to buy it again and again. And online is the best way to fulfill that. And we've done everything we can now to make that, a super great experience. And again, I'm excited about those prospects. By the way, our strategic plan looks forward to us having 10% of the product we made from Durango be sold through e-com over the next 3-4 years.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds like a good plan. Going back to franchising, how does franchising work with the company? Like if someone wants to open a franchise, how do they apply?
Yeah, no, it's a good question. So like any other franchisor, we've got requirements. So we have an application. You need to have sufficient liquid assets, a decent credit score, and a decent background. Increasingly, though, we're requiring people having had some prior storefront retail and or food and beverage CPG experience, because we've got a branded product. At the end of the day, you got to know how to sell it, and you got to be aware of what that environment's like. So really strong business experience is now something we're increasingly requiring. Optimally running a store before running one of ours, or at least running some sort of business, so that because these are people that have to run 360 degree of a P&L. They've got to know what we're doing. So, and our increased focus on multi-unit operators, you think about people that own 5, 10, 20, 30 plus stores of all sorts of things, sandwich shops, quick service. Those are the people that we feel strongly may want to add, a chocolate shop to, because it's a diversifier. You think about it, you own the restaurant, and somebody wants to go have dessert after the restaurant, and they don't want to buy it there, they want to go and walk. We want them to come to our store. And I'm sure there are owners that think, yeah, well, great, I can get them in the restaurant. Now I can get them at the chocolate shop. So, and we're a pure play. So See's Candy, great, respected peer, are all corporate stores. So you can't invest in one of those. And then you might be familiar with Kilwins, which is in your state.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
But they're primarily an ice cream shop with some chocolate. So if you want a pure premium chocolate confection experience, we're in it from a franchise standpoint. So all we've been doing is trying to make that more and more attractive. And we're already well on our way to doing that. Our average unit store volume is up 31% since 2019. That exceeds inflation by a nice bit, and says that we're doing the right things with the franchisees and with the consumers. Our goal is to get that to 800,000. And that's from a combination of smarter location of stores, greater offerings inside the stores, and new product development and new product innovation. And that's something we're going to be leaning into quite heavily, particularly starting next year.
Okay. Yep, that makes sense. I actually just went to Kilwins up north when I was in Petoskey, but we have them everywhere. So I primarily go there for fudge, but they definitely do have like ice cream and things like that.
They do a great job. I love going to Kilwins, but I love going to Rocky more, of course.
And related, what are you doing in terms of publicizing the rebrand for Rocky Mountain?
Yeah, so it's a slow burn. So we're going to release the basics of it at our convention in San Antonio, Texas in late September. We'll probably talk more about it to the public soon thereafter that. And then we want to make sure that we get through the holiday season, which includes Valentine's Day for us, with the current trade dress so we don't bring confusion into the marketplace. But then basically March 1, we should be off to the races. And it takes a lot of time to retool packaging and to order things. Time lags are more than they used to be, of course. So really the consumer will start seeing our brand in earnest in a nicer, exciter, sexier way, really come the second quarter of calendar 2024.
Okay. And then related to that, I'm definitely familiar with the caramel apples. I used to go to the mall like just to get the caramel apples. But what are your more like popular confectionaries right now?
Yeah, so anything with peanut butter and chocolate does really well. A lot of our best-selling items have nuts in them, everything from peanuts to almonds to pecans. Kids do love the apples, and the apples are really a big draw for kids. And so you've seen, particularly the more creative franchisees we have come up with crazy, fun-looking, decorations and themes to holidays. I love the theme to holiday stuff. So that does really well. And really, we have something for everybody. We have different flavors. We had a lavender item for a while, birthday cake, truffles. I mean, that's exciting stuff to me. So really, our team has a lot of fun in playing with flavors, and we're looking carefully at what parts of the market we're not addressing. I would say that we're looking at different ethnic flavors going forward. I would see that as a nice opportunity for us.
Those are all pretty trending right now. Like lavender for me is like hit or miss because like if it's too much lavender, it's like overwhelming. But if it's like a honey lavender, like a hint of lavender, it's good. And then I've noticed a lot of companies have been experimenting with ethnic trends. I was actually just at Sanders, if you've heard of them, yesterday.
Sure, of course. Great beer.
And they own Cars Nuts as well, or Second Nature brand owns them. And Cars Nuts just came out with a bunch of like ethnic like nut mix type things. Like they had a habanero flavor, things like that. Do you guys have any like spicy sweet type snacks, or would that be something you're considering?
Some of our apples, some of our stores do some fun things with heat. And I would say directionally, we're looking at stuff like that very, very carefully.
Okay. And I was going to ask, do you have any like predictions for flavor trends next year, either for Rocky Mountain or just in general?
Yeah, I see the ethnic flavors becoming more noticeable in various venues. I think bolder flavors are what drag people in, a little bit of heat or contrast between savory and sweet, I think is gaining ground and has been gaining ground for a while. I think you're going to see a lot more of that. Yeah, those are the kind of things that we're pushing the limits on, and we should have some fun introductions next year along those lines.
Okay. Yeah, related, I was going to say, do you have any new products that came out this year or anything upcoming that you could share?
Yeah, no, so nothing new just yet. We've basically been working on making sure our product consistency and quality is top notch. One of the things our franchisees said, this is how we listen, for example, they'll say that a certain product we make, that the shape varies too much, and some of our stores sell by the pound, not by the piece. And they say that's because there's too much variation in the weight and shape, that they want to make sure they're delivering the right consumer value when they sell it. So we're bringing a ton of consistency to that so they can sell with confidence those sorts of products. So we've been honing in more on that. And again, our head of R&D also is our quality person. And so we want to make sure we get the quality of everything we do currently right before we start layering on the new stuff. But believe me, they're all chomping at the bit. And really 2024 is going to be the year we roll out some fun stuff.
Right. That makes sense to me. And then last question, what's your favorite product to eat that Rocky Mountain sells?
It's very pedestrian. It's the deep chocolate peanut butter bucket. I just love it. It's a male flavor, right? It totally is. And I'm a big dark chocolate fan, and I've always loved peanut butter. And the two of them are huge for me. So that's really my go-to. But I will dig into everything that we have. We have so many fun products. It depends if I want a chewy experience, if I want a more rich experience with some of our truffles. But yeah, no, my go-to, they tend to land on my desk without me asking, which doesn't help my waistline, but I enjoy it every time.
What is a peanut butter bucket? Because I'm picturing like a bucket just full of.
No, it's a cup, but it's sort of on the larger side.
Okay, that makes sense.
So imagine, and I hate to use the phrase, but it's not too dissimilar to the dimensions of the hockey puck.
Okay, interesting.
And it's a good eat. I mean, it's actually like a meal substitute, because it's very satisfying and it's substantial. So and we make them different, but the larger size is the one I typically get.
Okay. And then related to that, when you said meal substitute, are you guys exploring any like better for you type candies, like sugar-free, things like that?
And it's funny you should ask. Yeah, we have a great sugar-free line, and our team's been now. See, there's a great example of innovation. Our team's been looking to clean up the ingredient deck for our sugar-free line, so it's more natural, or and less more appealing that way. I'll give you a great story. I was looking at an M&A opportunity, and I picked up a box of the potential transaction, and I looked at the assorted chocolates, and I looked at the ingredient deck. And look, I came from a company that made hippies, so I know from BFY. And I'm like, wow, there's a lot of ingredients in that thing. And then I picked up the ones at Rocky Mountain Chocolate. I'm like, oh, that's not too dissimilar. So we're in the process of cleaning up our ingredient deck and trying to get it as way as possible from artificial flavors and colorings. But I do predict we will have more things leaning into BFY. We're never going to go full the bright, because listen, when somebody walks into our store, they want indulgence. Okay.
Right.
They're not shopping the natural food aisle. They want the highest quality ingredients they can get, and we provide that, but they're going for the indulgence. But we are going to keep elevating more towards natural and better ingredients in all of our products over time.
Right. That makes sense to me. I think they can kind of go hand in hand sometimes, because I do have some friends that have like diabetes, things like that. And they're like, hey, I'm at the mall, we're at Rocky Mountain or wherever. All my friends are getting chocolate. Do you have any sugar-free chocolate that I could get? So that might be good.
Yeah, no, I'm proud of our sugar-free line. And we also have a dairy-free alternative. And there's a lot of free from things that we're looking at. We're going to do it on a selective basis, but it goes back to my comment I made earlier, that I want anybody walking in our store to find something that meets their needs and tastes phenomenal. That's a high bar, but that's everything that we're looking to do, so that everybody walks away happy from a Rocky Mountain chocolate experience.
Sounds good to me. Well, that's all the time we have for today, but thanks again for being here with us.
Liz, I appreciate the time, and thanks so much for all the great questions. I love spending time with you.
Thanks.